Alright guys, welcome back. Today I want to show you the new OTK lane, the new one-card combo OTK with Snake Eyes. For you, if you are playing Snake Eyes, this is very important, and it's also important if you are playing against this deck because you need to be aware of how this is happening and how you might be able to stop it. To be honest, it's not that easy to stop it because all it takes are 4 bodies, or if you have an Ash Blossom or another fire monster in the grave, or a dark monster actually, might only be 3 bodies. So what is allowing this new OTK line is a Salamangreat Raging Phoenix, which why I talked in a previous video about the fact that Salamangreat Raging Phoenix is not only Salamangreat support but also Snake Eyes support, because it gives the deck a very powerful new OTK lane. So how does it work, so that you know how to do it, and then I will also explain some choke points where you might be able to stop your opponent if you even can. So it doesn't really matter with what you are starting here. Could be a Snake Eye Ash, could be a Snake Eye Oak, searching something from the deck, could also be just a Snake Eyes Poplar, honestly. Obviously with your Ash you want to grab the Poplar, and depending on what your opponent has, so the requirement to be able to do this is that your opponent at least has 1 body on the field, right? So 1 monster, because you need to destroy it later on with the princess in your grave. So with this Poplar here, it depends actually what you want to search here. You can search the temple, you can also search the original sinful spoils. It doesn't really matter because you will have enough bodies either way. So you can search this one, you can search this one. It does not really matter for the combo, you will be able to perform it. In this specific scenario with this specific hand, we might also be able to search the sinful spoils of subversion, placing one of our opponent's monsters in the back row, so that this monster, maybe it's a negate monster, maybe it's an Appaloosa or something, that it doesn't bother us anymore, but it only works here because we have an additional body with the Diabellstar in the hand. So normally in this combo you want to either grab the temple or the OSS. Let's grab the temple because the temple also has some follow-up stuff. We can just go ahead and place the temple, if I'm able to click it correctly, and then place one of our Flamebird Dragons here in the spell trap. Now we can basically continue the line as you know it already. You go for the Linkuriboh so that you're able to place the Poplar here for free into the spell trap. Now in this case we are placing the Ash, so we can keep the level 1 body in the graveyard. And now we could send the Flamebird away, but then we won't get the Flamebird effect because there's only 1 level 1 body. Actually, that's not true. We could send it away and it would work. But what we can also do now is go Snake Eye Ash, and now we could at this point send the Flamebird away to get the level 1 body, the level 1 bodies back. This would work. We could also send this Ash away to get an Oak into rotation. It doesn't really matter. Let's keep it simple here. We are just sending the Flamebird away to grab ourselves, in this case, because the Flamebird triggers, we could also grab the Oak, but we are grabbing another Flamebird back to our field. Remember that we only need 4 bodies. This is all you need to achieve, and we already have this. If you are counting, we have 4 bodies right now, so we are already in the game. And as I already said, if your opponent has a dark monster or a fire monster in the grave, you also have the opportunity to just go into either the dark or the heater, depending on what is in your opponent's grave. And then you would only need 3 bodies because you get an extra free body from either the dark or the heater. What we can now do, because if we want to kill our opponent, don't need this effect, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field or in either graveyard, place it face-up in its owner's spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. What we could do now, if there were more monsters on the field that we still need to get rid of, because you want to keep 1 monster on the field, as I already said, we could use this now to put something in the spell trap zone here to get rid of another interaction, of another interruption, if we wanted to do this. If you are playing a Nightmare Phoenix, which I'm not playing at the current moment, you could also go ahead and make a Nightmare Phoenix now with these 2 bodies here, destroy one of your opponent's back row so that you are even safer with this kill combo, discarding a card, and because you will link it under the Linkuriboh, you will also be able to draw a card. Don't use the SP Little Knight for this. Obviously this is better than is the Nightmare Phoenix, but if you use her effect, some people tend to forget this. If you use this effect, the banishing effect of her, then you will not be able to attack directly, which means we can't kill our opponent. So if you want to, we can now go for a Nightmare Phoenix here to get rid of another back row of our opponents. In this case, it's only Sogan, and I don't have the Phoenix in here. But if you have, then you could do it right now. Okay, so in this case, we don't have a fire or a dark in our opponent's grave, so we are going for the straight line here. We need to make the Promethean Princess. We can keep our Flamebird Dragon on the field And now you will see why we need 4 bodies here. The Promethean Princess is now able to resummon something. It does not matter what you resummon. I like to resummon the Flame Witch if I have 2 engraved, but it doesn't really matter. And the next thing we need to achieve is our new guy, the Raging Phoenix. Now I will explain in a moment why this is important and what the guy does. And now, if we would not have the 4th body, then we would only have the Raging Phoenix on our field. And then what happens next will not be able to happen. So we will use the Atlantis, because the Atlantis is link 4. We can make him with another link 4 monster. And you might know the guy already. This guy is able to be activated and then banish all the cards on the field and then just bring them back. And you, as the effect activator of the Atlantis, can then decide how to place them. So you can place all your monsters face up. You can place your opponent's monsters face down. You can place your own monsters face down if you want to. But the important thing is our Raging Phoenix and the Promethean Princess. For the OTK to work, you need these 2 in the grave and then the Atlantis. So the 3 important cards are the Promethean Princess, the Raging Phoenix, and the Atlantis. So what is Raging Phoenix doing here? The Salamangreat text of this card is not important for us, but what is important is this one. If a face-up fire monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, Promethean Princess, while this card is in your graveyard, it is in our graveyard, you can target one of those monsters, one of those that has been destroyed by card effect, special summon this card, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to that monster's attack. So we now want to use our princess to destroy something, and in order for that to be happening, we are going to activate our World Sea Dragon Atlantis. And now we can see we can now decide where we want to put the different monsters. We are putting the Atlantis here in the middle, and the one thing is very important is that you put the one extra body that you now have here, the fire body, that you put it here beside the Atlantis on either side. It doesn't matter which one. In this case, it actually is not that important, but normally it is. Then we can place our opponent's monster. It doesn't really matter, but the cool thing is that also with the Atlantis, you are able to place problematic opponent's monsters face down. So, for example, an Albion, the Sanctifier Dragon, who is a very big body and cannot be targeted. You can just place him face down, and then he's no longer a problem, or any towers kind of monster, right? And now we can activate our princess. Why can we activate our princess? We can activate her because a monster was special summoned to our opponent's field, right? Because we banished it with the Atlantis and it came back to our opponent's field. So the condition for our princess is now live. And this is why we need this extra body here, because we need something to destroy on our field, a fire monster. Otherwise, we can't trigger her. And this is why it's not enough to have just a princess here and then revive something and make Raging Phoenix and Atlantis, because then we can't activate her in grave. We need this extra body here. This is the important body, the 4th body, right? So we're going to activate this, kick this, and then keep in mind to just place her here so that they are co-linked. This will be important in a moment. In this specific scenario, it wouldn't be. Now we have the trigger effect of the Raging Phoenix because a fire monster was destroyed, the Flame Witch Dragon. We have to target the Flame Witch Dragon, and now we resummon the Raging Phoenix, and the Raging Phoenix will also get the attack points of the Flame Witch Dragon. And now you can see we have 11,000 attack on field, but even without this attack boost of the Raging Phoenix, this would exactly be 8,000. So these 3 together, base attack, is 8,000. So you might ask, okay, but what if my opponent still has monsters on the field, right? Yeah, fair question. We go battle phase now, and now we have another effect that we can activate, because a World Sea Dragon Atlantis says, during the battle phase quick effect, you can destroy cards on the field up to the number of co-linked monsters on the field. This is why it was important to place the fire monster on either side of the Atlantis, because now the Promethean Princess and the Atlantis are co-linked, which means we have 1 and 2 co-linked monsters, which means now we can destroy up to 2 cards on our opponent's field, or our field if we want to, and this doesn't even target. So a lot of cards, for example, are protected from being targeted, but this one does not target. So we could now activate this, and we don't have to, in this case, destroy 2, we can destroy up to 2. So obviously there are no monsters left. We just destroy the Sorgen here and then call it a day. And yeah, now we have the free field here, and we can just attack for 8,000 damage in the base. But obviously we have more because of the attack boost, and this will basically always get an attack boost, because you will always destroy something with this. So this is how this works, and you always have to think, if you are like, okay, I'm playing the Snake Eyes deck, I'm not quite sure whether I can achieve the combo, just ask yourself this one question. Do I have 4 bodies that I can use? and is one of the, or can I achieve it in that way that one of the remaining bodies is a fire body? Obviously, if you only have wind bodies on the field for whatever reason, then this wouldn't work, because with the Promethean Princess you need to destroy one of your fire monsters. So it needs to be a fire body, right? So if you are able to have 4 bodies on the field, or only 3 if your opponent has a fire monster or a dark monster in the graveyard that you can revive with the heater or the dark. If one of these conditions is met and your opponent has at least 1 monster on his field, then normally you will be able to kill your opponent, because remember, let's say our opponent had like 5 monsters on the field, right? This would not have been a problem, because the Snake Eyes from Birch Dragon can set 1 monster in the back row, so there are only 4 left. Then our Zealantis can destroy 2 more, so there are only 2 left, right? Then we can destroy 1 more with our Promethean Princess that will come and just kick this monster here. And then if our opponent has 5 monsters, which is something that basically never comes up, so it's very rare that our opponent passes with 5 monsters, but then we might have 1 last monster in the way that we have to find some way to deal with. So we might have to do some stuff from our extra deck first before we go into our kill combo, but this is only if if opponent has 5 monsters on the field, and also only if we, for example, don't have any extra monsters. So in case your opponent has 5 monsters on the field, you might want to elongate this combo a bit in order to have an additional body on the field that you can battle with. So in this case, we would, for example, now have 1 body left on the field, and maybe we would have established, I don't know, an Oak, for example, which has boost from the temple. It has, I think, it has 2000 attack actually, so it can attack over basically everything. So as you can see, it's really not hard to achieve this combo. You are also, as I have mentioned, able to use your Nightmare Phoenix to destroy some back row. It's really, really easy, and you can achieve this with your Snake Eye Ash. You can, in theory, achieve this with your Poplar, but then you need another additional card in hand. The Bellstar is able to achieve this. It's really not tough to get this done. You can achieve this with an Oak if you have a specific grave setup, but all that you need is either 3 bodies if your opponent has fire or dark, or 4 bodies if he does not. And now talking about this is also how you counter this, right? So if you are the opponent and you are like, okay, I see he goes for this combo, for the Zealantis Raging Phoenix combo, then obviously the choke point of this combo, there are different ones. If you can remove the Promethean Princess from the graveyard, this helps with a called by, because then it doesn't work. You can remove the Raging Phoenix from the grave, but if you can remove something from the grave, the Princess is definitely the better card that you should remove. If you can, for example, stop the Birch Dragon, this can also be very helpful, because this normally gets your opponent 2 bodies back, which he needs bodies, right? If you can, I don't know, infinite impermanence something, maybe the Zealantis, when it wants to use its effect to basically kill the entire board and bring it back, this could also work. Also a good point to stop your opponent. But then also, if you have some interruptions that can destroy cards, because let's, for example, say you have, I don't know, you are playing Salamangreat, and you have your Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf on the field, and you have this trap that can destroy cards up to the number of link rating of a monster, in this case 2. So you might also be able to count your opponent's bodies. So you are seeing he has 4 bodies. This is like the kill combo, and then you go, okay, I activate my trap, destroy 2 of them, and now my opponent can no longer kill me, even if I have fire monsters in the grave, because he would still need 3 bodies. So this is how you counter this, right? So choke points, Promethean Princess, if you can stop her, if you can impermanence this guy. But then again, if you had an impermanence, you would probably use it at the beginning on the Ash. So yeah, but Called by the Grave on the Promethean Princess is very strong. On the Raging Phoenix, negating this guy if you can. But don't wait to negate him until the battle phase if you have an effect failure, for example, because the effect failure only works in main phase. And then just controlling the bodies on your opponent's field so he can't go into his 4/3 bodies depending on the situation. Without further ado, I will kill my opponent now with this kill combo. Let me tell you, it's very effective, it's very easy achievable, and definitely makes this deck way stronger. It's crazy how strong this is right now. This was doable before. We had the Zealantis, we had the Promethean Princess, but not the Raging Phoenix, which definitely pumps this up to another level. Okay guys, let me know in the comments what you think of this crazy combo. Are there any questions left here? Let me know if I have told you this or explained you this in a good way. Thanks for being here. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell, and we will see each other in the next one.